Hey family, how are you? Chris coming at you again. I am today on the Battery Park Hudson River boardwalk. So it's a little windy today, so hopefully that won't interfere too much with the sound. But my title today is called "Beware of the Baggage Handler." Uh, so, I mean, we've all heard the term "she or he has got baggage," right? So, typically when somebody says they've got baggage, we're referring to, I guess, the problems that people have, or maybe the situations they get into, whether it's past or present. So, I want to talk a little bit about that, about the baggage handler. We know the term, but I don't know if a lot of us are familiar with the fact that we often give people permission to carry our bags. Whether or not they have the right to carry them, that's a whole nother situation. But I think it's important to talk about, really windy, sorry, because I think ultimately it impacts our life. I've learned over many years that I've kind of got to be careful with the people I choose to give my bags to, because the impact can be huge. I mean, your bags are essentially, again, your problems, they're your fears, they're your personal information. And I think sometimes we're a little too careless about who we give that information to. And what's funny about that is often we give that information to people who we believe to be our friends. And for all intents and purposes, they probably are our friends. But doesn't necessarily mean that they're equipped to carry your bags. Feeling like I'm in a tundra right now. So, I don't know. Have you ever been to the airport with little children? You go to the airport with little children, and what's the first thing they want to do? They want to help you with your bags. Why? Because they love you and they want to be helpful, and they think that they could be of value to you. Now, depending upon what kind of bags you have, you know, and you are very clear as to which bags you can give to this child. You're not going to give them the bags with your fine china or with some perishable or something that can break, because you know you're not really ready to trust them with that type of responsibility, and you're certainly not going to give them the bags that are too heavy. So you try to find a bag that they can handle and that they can be of help to you, and they're happy and you're happy. So we can easily think through that with our personal lives, but with our bags, but with our personal lives, I don't think we give it the same level of thought. So what happens is we end up handing over bags to people that should have never been allowed to carry the bag. You know, even myself, I have friends. I've got a lot of friends, most of which I consider to be close friends. But even within my tight circle, I know the differences between what I can give one person and what I can't give another. If I have a friend, let's say from a a relationship standpoint, and that person is still in play mode, and maybe I've got some baggage that has to do with relationship issues, why on earth would I hand over that type of bag to somebody who isn't there yet? They're still in play mode. So really, what can they offer me in that sense? What can they give me that's going to be of value? Now, that doesn't mean that they don't have experiences that may help me. But you know better than anybody the people who are around you and the people who are equipped to handle certain things. I just think sometimes we're in gossip mode, or we're in lick my wound mode, meaning we want somebody to lick our wounds because we're feeling bad, and we hand over information that can be problematic in terms of what that person gives you after you give it to them. So we got to be real mindful about that, right? Now, conversely, just because this person is not the right pick for a particular topic or bag that you have does not mean that they don't have value. That same person may be awesome with issues of work, work-related issues. They may be your go-to person when it comes to things of work. But relationships, not so much. Point I'm making is we got to get better about choosing the people that we give our bags to. Now, why is this so important? Well, it's important because at any given time, we're always one statement away from a breakthrough or a breakdown. Depending upon who that person is and who they are to you in your life, that person may say something or do something that's the catalyst to you moving forward strong and with confidence, or they may be the very reason why you, who were already second guessing yourself, stop and throw away a dream that you really were prepared to maybe at least risk taking a step. But because of the negative words that they gave you, you said, you know what, you're right, I'm not doing that anymore. That's why it's important. That's why we need to kind of really take care to what it is that we tell people and who we tell them and who we tell it to. We really need to take note to that. And as a matter of fact, getting better at choosing your baggage handler, I think can literally change your life. It's also a marker of your maturity, because as you get better at choosing baggage handler, it really is a symptom of you taking your time and really thinking through the people who are in your circle, the people who are of value to you. And at times you may have to even go outside your circle. I mean, there are issues sometimes that nobody in your circle can help you with. I mean, you may need to enlist a third party. You may even mean, I don't know, some professional help of some sort, or not just professional in the medical sense, but even professional in terms of from whatever profession you're going after. My point is, you're taking a little more time thinking about what it is that you want to share with people and who is going to be of value to you. Because a lot of our friends, a lot of our family, a lot of the people who surround us, they're just not where you are. And as a result, they're not the right person to share that information with. They are going to spit venom in you at times, or in some cases they may send you off on a trip that you're not prepared for because they haven't given you the right advice. Another thing I'd add too is knowing how to choose a good baggage handler and the maturity that I talked about. Here's my thing. Somebody who is a good confidant, somebody who is a good, as we're saying, baggage handler here, is not the kind of person who tells you what to do. This is just my opinion. The people who I reach out to, the people who I trust to give me the best advice, are the kind of people who never tell me what to do. They just give me food for thought. They have the ability to play devil's advocate. They have the ability to show me, A and B, not just their A. They're not the kind of people who are sharing with me what their experience is and expect that my experience is going to be the same. Every situation is different. Every person is different. The players and variables are different. And if this person is mature enough, they will share with you what their experiences are, but at the same time, they will tell you, that was my experience. That doesn't mean that's going to be your experience, but I'm giving you that because you're going to help you. You're going to use that to help you make the right decision going forward. I say that because I talk to a lot of people who have friends who say things like, well, if you do that, you're an idiot, and I don't want to talk to you anymore. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but to me, that's questionable. That is questionable. We're all adults. Well, at least you should be talking to adults. And you have the right to make your own mistakes. Even if what you're doing is wrong, you have the right to do that. And somebody who I believe is your friend will be okay with that. They will be okay with the fact that in life, most of our decisions are a 50-50 shot. Sometimes we choose right, sometimes we choose wrong. If you have the kind of friend who gets mad at you because you chose wrong, and they are so quick to say, I told you so, you might want to question whether or not that's the right kind of person to go to. A true confidant, a true friend is the kind of person that says, hey, you took a shot, it didn't work out. Now what? What's your next move? I'm with you regardless. Now, if you're one of my friends and you keep making the same mistake over and over again, that's different. You're at least going to hear my mouth. And I expect people who I go to do the same with me. So, well, Chris, how many times have you done that? How many times have you done the same thing? How many times have you gotten with the same kind of person and got your heart broken? How many times have you allowed people to do the same thing? See, that's different. That's different. Which kind of leads me to my second note to a good confidant, meaning they're not always going to tell you what you want to hear. And be prepared for that. If what you're looking for is a yes man or a yes ma'am, I mean, that's not the kind of baggage handler you want, I don't think, because that person doesn't serve you in any way. I mean, sometimes we get in our head what we want to do, and we don't want anybody to tell us anything differently. But again, if that person is giving you the pros and the cons of both sides, and you're coming up with your own decision, then you should be comfortable with that. If you're dealing with people who you get to call and say, girl, he did this to me, he did that, and all they do is lick your wounds, and you feel good after that conversation, and at no time do they tell you about yourself, well, like, I hear what you're saying, but I also know you did this and you did that. I also know that you treated that person like this. I also know that, and I did tell you about that, and you might want to think about changing that going forward. Now, yeah, they may be upset with you because you're telling them about themselves, but if you're a true friend and you don't want them to make the same mistake going forward, that's what you'll tell them. And at least that's what I'm looking for. I don't want people to just tell me what I want to hear. If I'm doing wrong, you think I'm doing wrong. Now, it don't mean you're right. Anybody knows me knows I usually think I'm right. It don't mean you're right, but we can have an intelligent debate about it, and you can help me understand your point of view. The one thing about me, if I see some sense in it, I will definitely take it under advisement, because ultimately the goal is progress. At least it should be. It's not for you to kiss my ass and make me feel good, and we sit down and we eat Haagen-Dazs ice cream, or we smoke 3 cigars and drink some Hennessy, or whatever it is that guys do, I don't even know. And in the end, you feel good because somebody agreed with your point of view. I don't really know what the benefit to that is. What is the benefit to that? So, get the right people in your life. And you may already have them. But make sure you're very clear. Don't start sharing information just because this person has been your best friend since college. That ultimately means that person is the right person to go to. Wrong. We have people who are in our circle who spit venom in our lives. They don't do it intentionally. But that's your job to be able to tell who the right people are. You may have 6 close friends, but only 2 of them are the ones that you go to with real relationship things, because you realize that they can be impartial in the information that they share with you. The other 4, not so much. So you don't go to them for that. They're still your friends. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to go to a happy hour and share your baggage with all 6 of them at the same time, and then you're wondering why they're hating on you, you want to tell this guy or this woman about your relationship problems, and you want to wonder a year from now why that person is clocking your man or your woman. I mean, whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? You got to do a better job. Anyway, so get better at choosing the baggage handlers. Get better at kind of screening them, whether they're in your life already or whether you're going to get somebody new to do that. Take a special note to some of the things that you've shared. The other thing you want to take a special note to is how they hold on to other people's information. Maybe they didn't screw you over, but you sat time and time again as they told you about other people's personal business. That should be an indicator to you. They aren't serious. because they're sharing other people's personal business with you. Well, I hope this helps. It's helped me over the years. I mean, I think I have some strong friends, and I think I have some good confidence. But there are certain things that I know I can't share with certain people in my life. One, because they're probably going to give me bad advice, because the way they live their life in certain areas. If you have somebody who's blowing money all the time, is that really the person you want to talk to about some financial thing? Probably not. If you have somebody who either doesn't have kids, or the way they choose to raise their kids is not along the lines of what you would do, is that really the person you want to share about some of the problems you're having with your teenage kid who's acting out? Is that the person that you want to get information from? So, again, I hope this helps. Hopefully this wasn't as long. I'm trying to shorten them up as I go forward, but love you all.